United States is done, Absolutely fucking done. They just cancelled Jimmy Kimmel's show. ABC has, because pressure put upon them by the FCC and Donald Trump because Jimmy Kimmel made fun of him. So much for your First Amendment. The whole point of the First Amendment is so the government can't trample over you. But that's exactly what they're doing. Trampling all over you. Unfortunately for you, that's the... you could say it's the beginning of the end, but it's actually been going on for some time. There's all this outcry regarding Charlie Kirk, but where was the outcry over Melissa Hortman and her husband and a dog? And the fact that shoot was shot another couple. They luckily survived, but obviously, they got permanent damage. Eight shots. And she survived it, but Melissa Hortman, no, she didn't. There's no outcry regarding that, was there? There's no outcry regarding Paul Pelosi when he got smashed up with a hammer. This is all state-incited violence. It is state-incited. And I've still got doubts regarding Tyler Robinson being the shooter. I think he's a scapegoat. I really do. I think he's involved. I don't think he's the shooter. I really don't. You see, there's so much flying about. There's so many mixed messages. And then you got the government, the hypocrisy from Donald Trump coming to the United Kingdom. Oh, what an embarrassment. Oh, what an embarrassment. The King's hosting a felon. He's hosting a felon. He's in Chequers at the moment. Which Chequers, if you don't know, it was donated to whatever government was in power for their use. Anyway, that's where they are at the moment. But what a hypocrisy. I don't think the United States is going to get over this anytime soon. You see this is so deep. It runs so deep. It goes back, in Donald Trump's last term and the insurrection, January the 6th. These people are just, they're literally lost. I can't remember the exact number of people who voted for Trump, but it's like 60, 70 odd million or something like that. But they are just so lost. There's no bringing these people back. Their minds are corrupted. It's like they've been wired wrong, programmed, you could say, to be the way that they are. Condoning the violence as long as it's violence against Democrats or people on the left or trans people, for instance. But, if it's a MAGA person, if it's somebody who's in line with the doctrine of Donald Trump, that feckin' orange buffoon, if they're in line with his thinking, well, they're okay. And if, for instance, they get shot or something like that, when there's outrage. And now Jimmy Kimmel, just because he made a crack at, well, basically called Charlie Kirk a MAGA, which he was. That was it. That was enough to get him thrown off the fucking show. They cancelled the Jimmy Kimmel show. He ain't the first. It's the last geezer as well. He got cancelled. So there's no freedom of speech. I told you months ago that your constitution was questionable. And people told me in the comments, that it'll hold strong. The courts will deal with it. The Supreme Court's been bought by Trump. So now you've got the state interfering, basically, meddling hampering your ability to gather. If you're on the left, that is. If you're on the right, that's fine. You can carry on. But that's what the First Amendment was all supposed to be about. It's there to stop governments, tyrannical governments, taking liberties with the people. But unfortunately, well, those who voted for this fucking idiot are well represented by the bloody idiot, but also this affects them as well. But they can't see it. They're happy to take the hit. Because it gives one to the libs, so to speak. They're happy to take the hit. They're happy to pay more for their food. They're happy to it's just madness. And also, they don't see it. They go to the pump and fill the car up, and they still see $1.98, even though it's like $3.98 or something. Gallon. They're blinded. These people are just so lost. They're so lost. I don't think there's any bringing them back. They all need a fecal lobotomy. I just don't see how the US is going to get past this. I really don't. I'm sorry, but I don't. And if I say it's going to take a long time. It'll take decades. It's going to take decades, and that's if you can, because this idiocy, it's deep. It's deep. Man, it's now in the UK with the King. You've got an educated man, the King, and then you got Donald Trump. Can you imagine the conversation? It's just be all about Trump. And the King, he must be so... Oh, God. The King don't suffer fools, all right? He's quite an arrogant man, the King is, and so is his son. They're both pretty bloody arrogant. You'll come to bed, do you? Come on, then. But that must be really hard for them to actually deal with. Come on, come up. Can't you come up? Come on, then. Oh, drag you by your neck. That'll do you well. Oh, there you are. Oh, crikey dogs, eh? They take over your house, they do, and cover them in fur. They do. So, let's just have a look, see what we've got in the comments there. Daniel Kelly. Anyone saying a petition? No, I haven't seen a petition. We have a thing in the UK. I'm in France, so I live in France, but we have a thing in the UK which, if you post a petition on the petition website, I think it's petition.org or something, and it gets accepted, if you get over 100,000 votes on it, it has to be brought up in Parliament. Don't mean saying anything's going to happen, but it gets brought up in Parliament. And there's been several, that have in the past, but cheers. Lunchtime beer for me. I haven't seen a petition regarding Trump. Not at all. Oh, I got Trump derangement syndrome. No, I'll tell you what it's called. It's called fucking common sense. Everything that man is doing is hypocrisy. He's an evil fucking bastard. He is. And this is all about revenge. All about revenge. You are not... You're turning a blind eye to what he's doing. Completely out a blind eye. Where am I from? I'm from the UK, but I'm in France at the moment. I live in France. Over Cornwall. Have you seen a pixie recently? Canada, MS in Canada. Luke Amato. My grandmother, who passed last year at 97, sorry to hear that, but that's a good old age, had said several times to me, Americans are so prejudiced. And not all of them, obviously, but as a general assessment, she was right. Yeah, there's some truth in that. But it obviously isn't all of them. I've met some lovely people. And some lovely people in here in the comments and what have you. Just, well-grounded people. The problem with these fools who like to leave comments like TDS, those sort of fools. Most of them are pretty uneducated. They can't actually... They're not very deep people. everything's surface. They just read the headlines and they believe everything they're told. So, you know, it's the typical kind of MAGA rubbish. They just you can wrap them around your little finger, right? The facts are out there. Things Donald Trump has said is out there, and these people they're blind. They're deaf to it. They're deaf to the nastiness coming out of Donald Trump's gob. And North America. Does anyone else hate politics? I do now. I do. I hate. I find a lot of it very interesting, but do I hate it? Yeah, I hate what. Actually, I hate what it has become. Not just in the United States, but also in the United Kingdom. It's a little bit more. I had to put it a bit more grounded, but there's a lot of stuff going on in the UK that I don't like. People like, Nigel Farage, for instance, there's nothing to like about that feckin' frog-faced bloody moron. He's another populist who's just keen on profiteering off the back of others and profiteering off the back of his constituency as well. He ain't doing his job, in his constituency. He's never there. He's always going to the United States, he is. So it's, hello there. Hello, third eye blind. Thank you very much for that. Trump is a waste of flesh. It's orange flesh. The US is so cooked. Yes, it is. And now Farage will do it to the UK if he gets it. Yes. He's still not very popular, Farage isn't. He might be within his base. But there are people who are very, disgruntled with Farage over Brexit. Because he's fucking screwed the UK. The UK's economy is just, it's not growing. You've got inflation, but then you've got no growth. So you can't compensate inflation. So it's effective. People's disposable income is getting squeezed and squeezed and squeezed. The cost of living is going up. Insurances are going up. Absolutely everything. Food inflation currently in the UK is 5.1%. Everything is becoming more expensive. Food inflation in the US is 3.6%. Was it 3.6? Or was it just inflation? I can't remember now. But I know for the fact that food has gone up in price in the United States, hasn't it? Badly. But yes, he is a total and utter waste of flesh. Well, I wonder if he could use his blubber to make glue or something. I don't know. There we come. I hope people blame him when the next election comes around. Yes. I hope on both sides of the war. You know what's happened with the Conservative Party in the United Kingdom? They've literally destroyed themselves. No credibility whatsoever. Luckily, the base in the UK, those have, there's enough people to say, hang on, the Tory party, the Conservatives, weren't talking any sense whatsoever. It was just about vitriol. So one of the things in the UK, I don't know about in the US, but in the UK, they never answer the fucking questions. They never answer the questions. It's always diversion. When you hear them on the radio being interviewed, it's always diversions. It's painful. They never answer the questions. And even in the United States, it happens in the United States, but they're quite happy, this MAGA lot, to just speak vitriol. Like Nancy Mace the other day, regarding these people. And obviously the Charlie Kirk killing and what have you. It's just vitriol. And then there's been a shooting of homeless people. A whole load of homeless people that's been killed and injured in a shooting. And this is directly after, Brian Kimeed or something, whatever his name is, Brian something off Fox News. He was saying, they should have non-voluntary lethal injection or something for the homeless people. Well, they're not going to do it voluntary, are they? For Christ's sake. But anyway, the whole idea of basically euthanizing them just because you don't like the look of them because they're there, because they've got no, they've turned a bad card. These people are evil. There's no ridicule of these people. Well, we might say things, but you're hearing from the bloody your president in the US, Orange von Schitzenpanzen. You don't hear anything from him about that. No, totally ignore it completely. And then when it comes to Jimmy Kimmel, he gets silenced. He's lost his platform. He needs to build up his own platform, I suppose. Oh, dear me. I hate Smith and you're talking about Pierre Pelev. Yeah, Pierre. Oh crikey, Pierre Pelev. He is 1 minute he's all Trumpian, and the next minute because he's realised that the Canadian people don't like Trump, he's kind of pushed back from that now. He's such a fucking he's a prick. Sorry. As I say it, I'm afraid the way things are going, you're going to have to pick a side and hope for the best. Yep. Oh yeah, Brian Kilmeade, that's it. Where was the outrage? I didn't see the outrage, did you? No, not by the government. That's horrendous. And these people, government, and the Charlie Kirks, they try to make out, all right, that they're Christians. that just what blows my mind. Love thy neighbour. No, they want to fucking cancel the neighbour. They want to give him a lethal injection. If you're not a Trump supporter, don't these people realise that Trump's going to be dead soon? They haven't worked that one out yet. Who are they going to support that then? Is it going to be him on his couch? J.D. Vance? No. And he ain't going to draw the crowd like Trump does. You see, Trump talks like a fucking idiot. So you can argue that these idiots, if they find some piece of themselves in him, maybe they can relate to him because they're stupid and he says stupid shit. So all these evangelical Christian types who are obviously racist, and don't they realise that Jesus was black? you had Erica Kirk, Charlie Kirk's wife, who's oh my god. Talk about being a performance. Anyway, while she was making her little podcast speech thing and grifting the public for more money, she's gone about blueberries for her daughter and what have you. He's gone to work with Jesus. Charlie Kirk has gone to work with Jesus so he can buy the blueberries or something like that. And just, for fuck's sake, I thought to myself, he's a fucking racist, and doesn't he realise that Jesus is black? He's not going to be white, is he? Not from there. No. Does make me laugh, that does. I see what it is, you see, all these people are depicting Jesus as a white man because we watch too many fucking movies made in the United States. Oh dear. There we go. The average Norwegian gamer. I had a tiny crush on Candace lately. What, Candace Owens? I'm sure it'll pass. Oh, Candace Owens getting sued by Emmanuel Macron for an obscene amount of money. More money than she's worth, about 5 or 10 million she's worth. And she hasn't got enough money to pay it. So she's got to obviously try and fight it, I suppose. But she won't win because what all they've got to do is, I'll give you a DNA or something stupid, you know what I mean? Oh, yes, you're a man. No, you're a woman. Regarding Macron's wife. Anyway, Candace is getting sued. But she's actually doing quite a bit at the moment regarding this Charlie Kirk thing. She's been quite investigative. I've watched a couple of little video clips on her recently. I don't usually watch her, only to ridicule her, but she was, in my mind, she was spot on. There's something not right. There's something seriously not right about Tyler Robinson being a lefty. That is definitely not the case. But Tyler Robinson being even the shooter, I don't think he's capable, for a start. Not to make that shot. I know a lot of people are saying it's easy with that gun. It's the Mauser 98. Bloody long thing it is, it's about over a metre long, and it's even when you deconstruct it, which you require tools and you can lose bits and stuff like that. I mean, it's not that easy to deconstruct. Sort of thing you need to do on the table, on the bench or something. They tried to make out that it was deconstructed to put into his bag, then it got reconstructed on the roof, and deconstructed to put back in his bag again, then put back together again in the woods. That's from the FBI, all right? And then one minute they're saying he's wearing black, next minute they're saying he's wearing a maroon top, which the actual video clip, it's just door footage, shows him in a maroon shirt. One of the problems we got now, though, is we don't know half this fucking stuff is even AI or not. And when you got the images in such bad quality, there's no detail. None of the images that we've had has had any real detail. Most of these bloody mobile phones and stuff, these are at least 1080p, if not 4K. And all the videos I've seen of Charlie Kirk being shot, it's like it's been done in 360p or something. It's just. It doesn't seem right to me. You should be able to scan right in on a lot of this stuff and actually see a reasonable amount of detail. And one person has been, could be a conspiracy theory, what have you, but there are some people out there believing the shot was done by a guy wearing a khaki top, holding on to a hand on the rail. He had one hand up here like so, which would have been the right hand, and the other hand on there. And at the time of the shot was taken, he clenched, stiffened up. He did, but you could see like a little nozzle or something coming out of his finger. That's a little bit rude. Out between his fingers. But there's a thing called the palm gun, which you squeeze. All right, you cock it and you squeeze it, and bang. And at that short range, it would be an easy shot to make. Whether that's true or not, whether that's what's happened, who knows? There's just so much stuff out there, and it's just you can't pull the bones out, and you can't trust the FBI, you can't trust the investigative team, and you certainly can't trust the government. The thing is, there's no ballistics report. There's no ballistics report between that Mauser 98, which was if that was because if there wasn't the gun wasn't on that roof, it's a fairly strange gun to choose when it's got to be broken down. But anyway. Maybe they're looking at guns which that Tyler Robinson family actually had registered to the house. I don't know. Maybe that's the one they chose because I thought it was the most likely one to be able to make the shot. The Mauser 98 can shoot up to 1,000 yards, quite accurately. It's a fucking good gun for hunting and stuff like that. It was a sniper rifle, really, isn't it? But there's no ballistics report. We've got no ballistics and we've got no autopsy. It's like, that's it. We need to get him scurried away. We're going to make a mark of them. We need to get rid of them. We don't want no autopsy. We don't want no ballistics. That's a red flag for me. It makes me believe that there is more to it than what they're telling us. It's not normal to do that. It's not normal. Are they not giving us the ballistics because it was shot with a different type of weapon? He wasn't shot with a Mauser 98. Could be a 6 or an 8, I don't know. Imagine being raised with people with their version of religion. Their version of religion, then falling into those internet circles, being somewhat radicalised. Then down the road, you fall in love with a trans or gay person. Yeah. You could imagine the ridicule that he was having to deal with. Now, the Lance kid, the one they say is trans or gay. I don't know if he's trans. He's gay, but I don't think it's about being. There's no evidence there saying he's dressing up as a woman. All right, for a start. Okay, so I don't think he's necessarily trans, but they're into this weird furry animal thing, where they dress up as furry animals. I got a furry animal down here. Look. I have one here. Look. I don't want to dress up as them. You know, it's bizarre. And there's clips over this Lance lad, what have you, video clips of him in these furry outfits. It's bizarre, really bizarre. Anyway, it's a totally different world that we don't understand. That's the problem. And much of it is communication through memes, through uwu and uwu and uwu. And if you don't know what that means, right, I've got to demonstrate this again. Right. You got the uwu, which is OWO. So the two O's represent your eyes, all right? The W represents a smile, like a shock. That's kind of ooh, uwu. All right, but the uwu, I don't know if I can do it. I tried to do it the other day. It looks so stupid. It's basically you a W, all right, a U, which basically means you got your eyes shut and sort of kind of squinting, like yeah. Another form of being shocked, you know what I mean? Kind of thing, you know. It's an ooh, ooh, kind of thing, and sorry about that. That's how they speak. Now, I went on to yesterday. I went on to Lance's Venmo account, and Venmo, if you don't know what it is a way of sending people money, yeah. And Lance was being sent all little bits of money from all sorts of places, from insurances to pay for this, pay for that, and it looks like it's from his uncle, right? Sort of helping them out because Lance has had family problems, right? He's gone completely off the rails, right? And he has a lot of problems. So they basically had to get him out of the family. Right? They reckon he was a danger to children and stuff like that, so they got him. Yeah. So he ended up in this place. I don't know if it was a flat or house or what it was. Anyway, Tyler Robinson was living with him. I wouldn't be surprised it's a gay relationship. But people on the right are gay as well, you know. There's people on the right who are trans, you know. And it's not just lefties that are trans. No, I see plenty of them trans for Trump, gays for Trump. You know, it's just madness. They hate you. Why would you want to be that way inclined? Not the way inclined, but I mean for Trump sort of thing. Doesn't make any sense to me. No, it doesn't make any sense at all. But yeah, there's just so many unanswered questions, and there's a lot of stuff that we do not understand. The texts, for instance, that have been shared with us, they were written on ChatGPT or something like that. There's no way Tyler Robinson or Lance, when they were communicating with each other, apparently after the shooting or doing, you know, that they were written by them. The Lance ones maybe, but they're not. Because obviously if them ones aren't, they aren't. But there's no way they were written by Tyler Robinson. No way. They never communicated like that. They never communicated. Everything was in shorthand, abbreviations, memes, you name it. They communicated differently. And stuff that we don't understand. Those so-called texts were too detailed. They just copy and pasted. It was a conversation that was. Oh, I wonder if the watermark's still there, because whenever you're doing with ChatGPT and stuff like that, there's usually a watermark. You can't see it, but it's there. Sometimes you can see it. Sometimes there's vertical lines in between. If you format them wrong, they'll be there. You know, because they get picked up in your software. But it does not on everything. But I wonder if the actual formatting, because it's put on for a platform which would rip all the formatting out, wouldn't it? I don't, because what I tend to do, I tend to when I go into websites and look at information, things have been written and what have you, and it's always a bit dubious. I go into inspect, and some of it is just in style sheets, but you can the body of the text is quite often there, and you can work things out from that. And anyway, you can end up with all little spaces and verticals in there, which you can't necessarily see. Oh, cheers, Vincent. I doubt he stays alive for a trial. Yeah, I've got my doubts. Apparently, he hasn't been cooperating, has he? He hasn't been cooperating, and that obviously questions have to be answered there. I wouldn't be surprised he's being threatened. I would be a bit surprised. He'll be waterboarded or something. Trump seems like waterboarding, doesn't he? We did in his first term. But yeah, it's questionable. So just on the face of it, no ballistics, or no autopsy. They disposed of the body as quick as possible. We had Erica Kirk doing a rather dubious eulogy thing for him. And that was weird. That was scary. I mean, your husband was shot dead 2 days ago, and you're grifting. She had that meme coin thing there as well. It's, you know, she's got she in donations at 6 million just in donations since Charlie Kirk died. She's got a past, I'll tell you. Fucking hell. This is all alleged, all right? I find it very difficult to piece it together at the moment. I'm looking in. I'm doing my research and looking into it, but the overview of it back in 2012, I believe it was, when she was basically recruited by Trump to be join the USA pageant, which Trump owned, yeah? Same pageant where Trump was going in there and, eyeing up the girls, not when they're getting dressed and that, you know. He's a sound geezer, is Trump. He's honest as the day is long. Yeah, right. So, anyway, he recruited her, and then she ended up being some kind of producer or something like that for the pageant. Probably involved with Ivana as well, Trump's daughter. Ivanka or Ivana? I can't remember. And then she was in a ministry in Romania called the Romanian Angels. Now, don't get it confused with the dog rehoming charity, right? But anyway, she was involved with the Romanian Angels. And the locals of this town, beginning with T, I can't remember the name of the town, but it's Taz something or other. Anyway, the locals accused her of abducting the children. It did actually go to the authorities in the end, and then the whole thing went to pot. Funny that Andrew Tate was there as well, who was also trafficking. This is all connected. That's how it feels to me. It might be just coincidence, but feels all connected. Now, some of these children that went missing in Romania ended up in the United Kingdom, and some of them were sent to a certain island. Was it Epstein's Pleasure Island, most likely? These children, they get indoctrinated into a way of life. They don't know anything. They don't know anything more than what they've been indoctrinated. Anything else. So they feel lost without it, even though they're being abused. Now, I was listening to a report by a child psychologist who was dealing with these children that they managed to find. One of them was trying to get back to their abuser. Yeah, that's how indoctrinated they become. Because they're so young when they do it, you see. You know, when they start effectively training them into being a little, a tool, a profit-making thing, child. Yeah, it's scary stuff. Anyway, she was involved with that, apparently. All right? And this ministry was actually working with the, I believe it was the Marines at the time, in Romania. Now, we know, all right, what the US forces have notoriously been involved with in the past, right? We know what was going on in Korea, for instance, in South Korea. It's going through the courts and what have you. The government has accused the US forces for indoctrinating children, raping children, what have you. It's almost like that. No, they were being prostituted for the US forces in South Korea. There's a lot of bases there, aren't there? It's, and then obviously in how they behaved in Vietnam, what have you. Last me long time. They turn up years later with a baby or a young child or whatever. Daddy. Oh dear. There we come. We have never been a democracy, a constitutional. No, that's a very good point. A constitutional republic, but you had a constitution that was respected, and because it was respected, it worked. And unfortunately, you've now got a man who's literally, he's undermined the constitution by putting in his sycophants into the Supreme Court. So it goes to local courts, and by the time it gets to the Supreme Court, it just gets thrown out, doesn't it? Like these tariffs, probably get thrown out. I won't be surprised. Putin is afraid to fly like a 3-year-old. Well, there has been an uptick in people flying in Russia just recently. Generally speaking, they are CEOs and what have you of rather large corporations, including Gazprom, and because they've been standing up against or had things to say against Putin, and Putin being a tyrannical leader that he is. Just gets his FSB checkmate the fucking window. So there's been an uptick on that recently. Yeah, people flying out windows. But I honestly believe that this war in Ukraine will be over by Christmas, and it's got nothing to do with fucking Trump, right? It's just the fact that Putin is he's not going to be able to fund it. It is. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. Right, yeah, right. He's not going to Valhalla. Just let you know that. Anyway, going back to the Ukraine war, I don't believe it's going to run past Christmas because they're going to run out of money. And at the moment, they've got a wartime economy that requires the munitions being made. You need money to do that in the first place, and people get paid wages, and it feeds the economy. So, yeah, anyway. This war's been funded by oil. And the Ukrainians, since Europe is no longer causing Ukraine any grief regarding... please don't bomb Russia. We still need the oil and the gas. They're not saying that anymore. All right, they put more sanctions on them. So that's been a free ticket for Zelensky to bomb all these oil refineries and oil transport hubs and what have you, and it's causing. They've lost around 20% of their capacity to produce oil, whether it be refined, gasoline, or whether it be gas oil or diesel, or just crude. It's it's very difficult for them now, and Ukraine's increases intensity on Russia, the bombing campaigns regarding the drones and these flamingos and these new missiles. They've just got these other new missiles. They've just got a flamingo, is very old either. They call it flamingo because it has like a bit of a slumpy launch. And it's anyway, these things go 4,000-kilometre range, which I suppose is what, 2,000 miles or something like that. It is 2,500 miles. Anyway, it's a long way. They're getting past Moscow and places like Petersburg and Petersburg on the border, but yeah, so that is looking quite bad for Putin because he's going to lose the means to fund his war. And then we'll see China and we'll see India being less interested in Russia. At the moment, Russia's useful because they're supplying them with oil and gas. Okay, Lucky, but you're going to be put on timeout. There you go. We don't need to hear about Charlie Kirk and rest in peace. I've got no interest in Charlie Kirk regarding his well-being while he's in Valhalla. Right? I've got no interest. The man was evil. I'll just say it as I say it. The man was evil. He was not a good person. He was not. If you followed someone like Charlie Kirk and think he's fantastic, just go through all the stuff that he said in the past, and then if you still think he's fantastic, there's something wrong with you. Something seriously wrong with you. I don't. No, I don't mourn Hitler either. No, that's a very good point. He was evil. He was evil, and he was a fraud. He was not a religious man, in my mind. I don't think he was at all, because all his doctrine, everything he said was not about religion at all. It's just he didn't practice any of it. You don't speak like that to people. You don't treat people like shit. He was evil. Sorry. You don't like it, tough. Move on. Take your average Norwegian gamer. Be good. So what? So I'm an atheist, all right? I don't believe in God and all that sort of polite. Okay, you don't have to believe in God and go to church. And you don't try to tell me Trump goes to church, are you? No, you don't have to believe in all that stuff. He didn't even put his hand on the fucking Bible when he's doing this fucking oration, was it? Did he? He don't believe in any of that shit. So I don't believe also that you have to go to a church or follow any kind of doctrine just to be a decent person. We're taught that as a child, well, you should be. How to treat others, how to be a decent human being. You don't need to go to church to know that. The only people who go to church go there to confess that they have been a decent human being. Just I understand the community aspect of it. I get that. And for some people crave it and they need it. ain't got a problem with it. You'll go to church, it's up to you. But, it's not my church, okay? These are my church. There you go. They're trying to repent, and all will be forgiven. Doesn't work like that. Ukraine has cooked a whole generation gone. Yeah, they are. Regarding that, but I actually believe they could win this war. I think they're showing so much resource. I think what's going to happen is that Russia is either going to turn. You come up. Russia's either going to get. Come on, you've got to get first legs up. Front legs up first. That's good. Oh, crikey! Whoa, you silly dog. There you are. He's got heart problems, so he's got no strength in his back legs. Nor have I now. Sorry about that. You fell over, didn't you, boy? Poor little fella. Yeah, obviously they're going to have problems. Somehow they're going to have to make more people. They're probably going to end up importing them. Be immigration probably, but All have I missed? Oh, yes, Russia has a smaller GDP than California, but California got a massive GDP. It's its GDP was the fourth or fifth largest economy in the world. Pretty impressive stuff, isn't it? Really. You'll always think America's cooked, but we never are. I think you are cooked. It depends on what you're craving. If you're craving this tyranny, if you want to be under totalitarian control, well, then in your mind you're not going to be cooked, are you? But if you want to have freedoms, if you want to have a diverse economy and a diverse society, we're feckin' boring, you know, well then you are gonna be cooked. See, you don't think you're cooked because you're happy with what's going on. You're happy with the deportations. You're happy with the abuse of people. You know, it's if it doesn't affect your economy, there's something seriously wrong there, and it is affecting your economy. Your economy in the US is dying a death. You know, your inflation goes up every single month again. It's not looking good, and the tariffs are filtering through negatively. It's not good. Remember, you pay the tariffs. The reason why companies don't like tariffs is because they sell less because of the tariffs. Holly, 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 holly. How's your dream? I hope you're well. I don't believe in God or religion, but I do believe in creation. Well, we create something, haven't we? You know, I say evolution myself. You know, and maybe there was a meteorite that had some DNA on it. All right, and it exploded and broke up in little tiny bits and landed around this planet. Yeah, and then it broke up, and the DNA, it evolved into using its surroundings as its own environment. Like, for instance, black people where it's really hot, you know, white people where it's cold. Should pick up more heat. And I don't know, just back it up, but you go something like that. So either that was aliens. Could be aliens. That's it. Go back to Egyptian times. They were aliens. They were apparently. Oh, my dog's there. He's a Dalmador. He's part Labrador and Dalmatian. He's 14 and a bit now, so he's getting on a bit. You know, he's got problems, he's got heart problems. You know, he's got a large heart, and he can't take weight on his back legs very well. He can when he's walking, but he can't like up steps and stuff like that. He struggles with, don't you, boy? But he's still happy. He's still a happy fella. He gets loads of love. That he does. Sobby fella, aren't you? He's very sobby. I've got several hats. I've lost count of my hats I've got. Whether it be bucket hats. I need some more bucket hats. That's what I need. I've got 3 at the moment, but I need different colours, different types. Bit like oh crikey, what's his name? Oh, I forgot his name. A musician. The US is definitely cooked, as in every country that goes far right. It never, it never fails. No, it's very true. Actually, look what's happened to Hungary. They've lost a huge amount of funds regarding EU money. It's been held. Viktor Orban is now threatening to leave the European Union, even though the people don't want to. I say let him go. Quite frankly, you know, he's a fucking problem. Jamiroquai, that's it. Jamiroquai, the geezer who's letting his car on his Ferraris out, and then his mate crashed it. He has some cool hats. Hey, don't you understand where you're from? I'm from my mother's fanny, okay? I know, because I can remember seeing the light, and it was all prickly. Anyway, they were the days, yeah. Trauma, you see, it's trauma. You remember trauma, don't you? They're the memories that stick in your head. It's trauma. Why Charlie Kirk? What about caring for Palestinians? Yeah, absolutely. And people lost to the police brutality who are unnamed and not spoken about. Yeah, and also the shootings and what have you as well. The homeless people. The 2 lads that were hung as a 22-year-old black lad student who was hung, and a white I can't remember where he was from, but anyway, he's a homeless guy, and he was hung. He could have been, you know, I say hung as if somebody done it. Some people are saying it's suicide, but apparently the black kid had bruises over his body. So that's what some people are saying. I can't clock. I can't be sure of that. Whether he was hung or whether they either were hung or whether they were they're so depressed they took their own lives. I don't know. Clarence Claymore. Thank you, Joel. Didn't raise your hair, my friend. Hope you well. Why are you doing live? Is this a USA state? Yes. Does this look like the USA? This house is older than the USA. No, I'm in France, right? So it's it's federal, but yeah, it's. I'm in France. I'm a British citizen living in France, looking around the world, what's going on, and face palming basically. Yeah, I do a lot of face palming. Why am I doing live? Why not? It's up to me what I do. Libby, are you Indian? Is something called Libby on there, or they call me Libby? Oh, Libby. I've actually got Indian blood in me. Actually, my mother was born in India. Uh, when does a job? When does your dog get a job instead of occupying the couch? Does he look like he does a job? Apart from looking cute. He eats, poos, and walks. And cuddles a lot. I suppose that's his job. The only way to safely talk about the United States is not to be in the USA. That's a valid point. I could get cancelled just like anyone else, though, YouTube, I don't think it's that safe on YouTube, to be honest. I've had loads of stuff that's been censored, usually demonetised, so it's quite hard to, make any kind of money on YouTube, especially if you talk about this sort of stuff. So you're rich? Fucking hell, no. I'm rich on life that I am, yeah. Uh, I am. As the money comes in, it goes straight out again. It's a bit like that, but we do manage. We keep, yeah. Our overheads are extremely low because we live in France, not the United States. We have a healthcare system. I just had my blood taken today. Actually, where's my? Oh, no, I took off. I just had my blood taken today. They come to your house and do it, and it's all included in our healthcare. So it's a much cheaper place to live. The housing taxes, what have you, very very low. I pay about 400 euros a year on house taxes. The car insurances are reasonably priced. It's only third party because it's quite old. My car is, and that costs €240 a year to insure. Just third party. It's not fully comprehensive. The camper, which is fully comprehensive because obviously it has higher value. Got that when my dad died and bought that with inheritance. Back in 2017. Anyway, that insurance on that is about 550 a year, fully comprehensive, but that is worth about 30 grand. So it's like no, so it's cheap to live here. It's cheap to live here. So you don't need a huge amount coming in. Plus, we do live off the land a lot. We grow a lot of food. We do a lot of preserves, and we've got loads of canning that we've been doing, what have you. And just live as the French do. If you do that, you'd be fine. So if you are planning on moving over here, if you want to be a digital nomad or something like that, if you want to carry on working, you can do that online and move to a place like France, for instance. You've got to obviously make sure you tick all the boxes. You have to do your 12-month visa. You can't work on that visa in the country, but if you're doing on like a digital nomad, you can kind of get away with it, can't you? So, and then you can apply for your carte séjour on the 10th month. So you can apply for your carte séjour, which will give you 5 years, and then you can then apply very simply for your 10-year carte séjour. So that's basically your card, basically the right to live here. Once you've got that, you'll get your healthcare and stuff like that. And 2/3 of it will be paid by the state. The other third, you take out what you call an insurance malady. So it's like It's like a top-up insurance, which is cheap. Costs for a single person shouldn't be any more than €100 a month for your top-up insurance. But it includes everything: your dental, your glasses. If you want prescription glasses, but obviously you can pay more if you want. It's yeah, it's a cheap place to live. So I definitely recommend it. It's nice there. And I live in rural France, so. Do I know Macron? Not personally. I don't mind him though. I don't mind him. He has his faults like all politicians, but he talks a darn sight more sense. The thing is, with far right politicians like Marine Le Pen and all her ilk, they feed like a certain narrative and very small platitudes, and it's just their base are very shallow thinking. They don't understand the nuances, what's required, what needs to be done to make a country function. And these right-wing politicians, they know there's the same with Nigel Farage in the UK, and the same with Trump and what have you. They'll just destroy everything, and that's what they're doing. Trump is basically trying to destroy everything so he can rebuild it in his own image. Fascism. Wait, why does the monitor keep deleting people? It depends on what they're putting on there. We don't have any rubbish on there, right? And I trust our people who we have. Joe and that's here at the moment, Joe, and I trust his decisions. He's a well-rounded geezer, and he's very well read, clever soul. He is. Hello, Joe. And if you're putting things in there that are just conspiracy theories and stuff like that, or right wing, like TDS and shit like that, you know what I mean? There's no value in it. There's no value in it, and we get plummeted with it. You get hammered with it. You'll get these people just put it on once, it'll be okay. But they'll spam it and spam it and spam it. Of course, they get lead. Can't have that. It's not fair to other people. You don't want to see it. My French teacher and her husband had a villa in France, and it seemed nice back then. Is it still nice then? It's changed, obviously. No, it's obviously moved on. Everything's done digitally these days. You have contactless payment. It's just different. It's more modern. But rural France is just lovely, and it's well kept. The country's neat and tidy. It is. It's neat and tidy in rural France. Now, I put it down to the fact that we have what you call a mairie, like a mayor, in every single town. And that mayor is responsible for all the grounds maintenance and keeping the place sort of pristine and making sure that, there's no squit going on. And they do a good job. Because they live here, generally. So, I've got no complaints. Join the French Foreign Legion and get your French citizenship. You could do that even, if that's really what you want to do. I don't think there's any leaving it, but there you go. My French teacher and her husband had a villa in France. Oh, sorry. Seems very nice. I've done already, haven't I? With politicians, it's like a marriage, I guess. You like each other, but not always agree. We're not supposed to agree, are you? It's just, we can agree on stuff, but generally speaking, you'll have a different narrative. If you're right wing or left wing or what have you. I just want people to do the right thing. Do what's right by the people. In the United States, you've got a president that is literally doing everything he can to feather his own nest. He's doing everything he can to cover his own ass. And the reason why he's in that feckin' White House, right? It's not because he wanted the ballroom. It's because he wanted to stay out of jail. He worked feckin' hard to keep himself out of jail. I just hope one day he's going to end up in jail. Or 6 feet under, one or the other, But it's just... He's an awful, awful person. He's a paedophile. Sorry, but he is. How many of these bloody Republican senators, what have you, or lawmakers, Republicans, MAGA like, who have been caught or been accused of child offences? Huh? No one just come out the other day, and there's another one with that MAGA geezer, the guy who said, I did it, shoot me, when Charlie Kirk got shot. He's just been arrested for thinking copious amounts of, just to say, imagery of little people. Why is it always the MAGA? I know that it happens on the left as well, but crikey. It just seems to be on steroids. We had the same in the United Kingdom. The Conservative Party. So many of them ended up in court or in jail because of sex offences and all that. Crazy. We're supposed to look up to these people, because they're supposed to look after us. Are you a microwave? Ping? I don't know. Poppity ping? Was that an Australian term? Poppity ping. Stick it in the poppity ping. Poppity ping. So worry about your country, not ours. Well, I am worrying about my country, actually, because of yours. What happens in the United States happens everywhere. Okay? You're setting precedents. Also, if the US's economy sneezes, we all catch a fecking cold, like we did in the last fecking session that you guys started. So no, I am not going to be apologetic for talking about US politics. Tough. I wish I was a hobbit in the Shire, away from all this scary politics. Yeah, I'm fortunate, right? I'm living in France, so at least I can escape it. I can turn it all off. I find it really hard to do mine because I'm kind of a bit addicted at the moment because it's so just mad. I said, what the fuck's happening now? So I can shut down from it if I want to. I do find it fascinating. Now, I do actually sincerely worry about people, and it brings a tear when I see people, and that's what's going on in Gaza at the moment, the genocide, and the fact they just want to kill everybody and they've been murdering children and stuff. And then, like, for instance, these poor homeless people just been shot, and then you got Melissa Hortman and those poor lads, end up being hung in a tree. That stuff makes me upset. It's so sad. And it's so unnecessary. We just got to remind ourselves there's enough money in the world to solve all these issues regarding homelessness, regarding healthcare, to have a socialist healthcare system where you get treated as a part of your tax system. People don't die because they can't afford a bloody inhaler. It's just ridiculous. Now, I said before, I'm going to say it again. If you don't have a healthy population, you don't have a healthy economy. Because people don't get to work. Or they can't work. It's just madness. The United Kingdom's got a very good health system with the NHS. It has its problems. It needs more money. Like, any system like that, because it doesn't necessarily make money, it's always taking money. But it makes money, I suppose, by making sure that people get back to work. Making sure, keep people healthy. You see, often it requires, it's a bit like doing an oil change on a car. That's all we need sometimes. We just need a little bit of servicing. And then we're okay to carry on. We'll blow a Conrod or something. But you haven't got that in the US. Unless you've got some health scheme that's involved, integrated into your workplace. Or you're paying a horrendous amount of money that most people haven't got. It's getting more and more expensive. I can remember, this is about a couple of years ago, I watched a little video of a guy who came in from the US. He's visiting family in the UK, and he went into a chemist and bought himself an inhaler over the counter. All right, and not generally over the counter. You have to make proof that you need it, kind of thing. Even if you're a foreigner. He got his inhaler. It cost him 15 quid as a foreign person in the United Kingdom. He said this inhaler. This was 2 years ago. Right, this inhaler would have cost him over $200 for an inhaler. Now I hear reports now where people are paying as much as $400 for a fucking inhaler, a Ventolin thing. That thing is, for some people, a matter of life or death. In fact, a young lad in the US this year was late last year, who died because he couldn't afford. What he'd start doing, he couldn't afford inhalers, so he started taking half the amount that he needed to try and make it last longer, and he died. He had a massive attack and died. You know, it's just. Hello, Alberta. I hope you're well. That's my. Is that frozen again? I think it is. Did check it on here. Oh no, it's just sad, you know, and it's sad that people don't see it. They don't see the fact that or understand it's a good idea to have a healthy people, you know, and treat people with decency. What's wrong with that? I'm just ticking on this. It's not going onto it though. What ain't it going on there? All right, let me just get rid of that. Let's clear all those. Get rid of that one. That one there. My app just collapsed. You know, went loopy. Alright, I'm just trying to bring up the chat because I think it's frozen on here. I might be wrong. Oh no, it's moving again. It's always great to catch you live chat. Oh, cheers, EDG. I'm going to be going to Nell Camper again for a few days with the dogs on my own. Mrs. in England at the moment. She's visiting the family. Having to pay for healthcare as well. We all pay for healthcare. I'm paying for healthcare. I pay taxes, just like anybody else. But it's having that universal healthcare. It's not really a social. I suppose it's a social system, but you do pay for it. It's not really free, but it's we pay like as an insurance, so everybody contributes if they need it or if they don't. The big orange python is steadily squeezing the air out of its victim's lungs. Are you referring to Trump by any chance? Free at the point of use, yeah, like it is in the United States. It's not totally free here in France, but benefit here is you get treated very quickly. All right. 2 days ago, we phoned up regards and make an appointment for my blood test, and I've had my blood test this morning. I mean, they've took the blood. I will get that test, results of that test, either later on today. Shall have a look, see if it's come through yet. Either later on today or tomorrow. No, ain't coming through yet. But it's only took the 12, so it won't be here. Yeah, not yet. It'll probably be tomorrow. But anyway, it's quick, and they send it to you so you can see it for yourself. So you can go Google. What's this mean? Oh my god, I'm gonna be dead tomorrow. You know, a bit like that. But also to your doctor. So sir, you look like Jet Black. I've heard that one before. I am Steve. Donnie. Giblets. Hope you well. Giblets. There we come. Oh, thank you very much. Very kind of you. I do love Jet Black. I have to admit, I've watched all his films, his music. I just love the guy. He's such a character, and he's actually a lovely person. You know, he's I really like him. He's Tenacious D was brilliant. The Pick of Destiny. Do you see my tattoo? I got the D. There we come. Did you find out the energy companies are making a 25% profit? So your bills could be 75% of what they are. But those CEOs and shareholders, I talk about in the UK, Andy. Problem is, this fucking cap, isn't it, in the UK? See, whenever the cap is put, is increased, the prices just ramp up. You don't get no benefit from it. And the way it's fucking worked out, it's worked out on global markets. So whether you got green energy, even though it might be cheaper, you're paying more money for it because prices are worked out on oil markets and stuff. Oh, cheers, buddy. Hi, young man. Thanks for your videos. No, you're welcome. I enjoy making the videos, and I enjoy learning. I do enjoy learning, and I'm kind of fascinated by all what's going on. And there's a lot of conspiracy theories flying about, but I think we sometimes conspiracy theories end up being the actual thing that has actually happened. But it takes that to be able to understand or pick from the bones. Some of it's ridiculous, it's really ridiculous. But the one I saw about the palm gun, that looks that's logical. I think, crikey, is that a possibility? Was there a man who shot Charlie Kirk, holding on to those rails, and he had he's like was he? Yeah, like that with a palm gun. Or you could just see a little snout of something there. It's a conspiracy theory, but it looks like it's possible. And the fact that obviously about the no ballistics report and stuff like that, that makes no sense unless there's something going on. No autopsy. Last time I was rushed to the emergency room, I paid. Well, I did not pay. I did pay my €4 percentage of the medicine, and I had to take from a total of 4 separate medicines. Yeah, you paid taxes and you got your health. Exactly. I don't mind paying my taxes here. I'll pay. Now, I was going to change the regime that I'm on here in France, but I'm on a rather stupid regime, which I need to change if I can get my income into more reliable, so to speak. But my tax regime, I pay my tax on my turnover, which is terrible, because I have overheads, as in, I'm a woodworker, you see, so I have to buy timber and I have to buy stuff for my machines and shit like that, and I'm having to pay tax on my turnover. The next regime after that, you pay, you can claim it back, but you also have to pay pre-tax. So it's like, for instance, they'll estimate what you're likely to earn in the first year when you go onto the regime, and they might say you're going to have to pay $5,000 a year in taxes. The problem with that is if you're not earning it enough to cover that, do you know what I mean? Plus be able to live. So until I can actually get myself into a financial state that I can do that, I can't claim any taxation back, any expenditure. Which is bad, really. It seems like a mad system, but everyone has under the same rules or similar rules. Hello, humility first. Yes, humility. Does Maga know that word? Crikey. The USA before Trump was choosing between medications or food, because it was pretty bloody expensive. And now it's a case of between food and rent. A lot of people in the UK actually like that at the moment as well. See, the cost of living's gone through the roof, isn't it, for everybody? Yeah, our food costs have gone up here, but not to the degree like in the US. For instance, I can get jar mayonnaise for like €1.30, or for a jar of mayonnaise, and in a loaf of bread. We usually get a brown loaf, which is about €2 for a good big loaf, a standard big loaf, which is okay. Meat is quite expensive. Fish is quite expensive where we are, because we're inland, you see, as well. But it's just how it is, isn't it? But we eat a lot of stuff from the garden, so we graze. I understood what you meant there, Joel. making private healthcare by 2026. But that's like happening in the UK. But it's all a bit drips and drabs, isn't it? The Labour government is basically, they're not ruling it out. Data has been sold to Palantir in the UK, to Palantir, Peter Thiel. They literally just want to get world dominance, don't they? I'm very, apart from YouTube and stuff like that, I obviously put a lot of stuff out on YouTube, and you can find out quite a bit about me, about online. But I don't do loyalty cards like fidelity type of cards here in France. I don't do anything like that. And if they want my bloody details, I always give them the wrong email or the wrong this or wrong that. I have a set network. I have another email that I use for that purpose. They don't need to know. They don't need to know. And I'll try and send them mixed messages. I think it's different with what I do, because obviously I'm always online. I spend a lot of time online, so it's probably pointless trying to avoid it. But I think you have to try. You have to try. I don't want these people getting hold of my data and information about myself and my preferences and stuff like that, and using it against me or my family. I'm sick and tired of being fed shit that I'm not. What they're trying to feed me, thinking I'm going to be interested in, when I clearly am not. And it's if I search something online, it ends up in my wife's feed. I could be buying her a present. It's very frustrating. But anyway, I'm going to be clocking off now. I've been live for an hour and a quarter. I just quickly checked through the chat. Oh man, Google was a data collection agency before it was a search page. Well, it had to be a data collection agency to be a search page. You always sold your info. You've got to give ID for anything. It's so gross. It's very true. That is very true. My understanding was that privatisation has been in progress for some time. It has, and it's bit by bit by bit by bit in the UK. They haven't gone like global. That's it. They're privatising it. It's drip, drip, drip. Literally just drip, drip, drip. Like for instance, US healthcare companies have bought into some of the GP practices in London, and it just goes on and on and on and on. And it's not necessarily one privatised system; it could be an amalgamation of loads. But that's when it's profiteered, isn't it? That's when you put profits over health. It's bad enough now when they have their meetings, what have you. Shall we pay for their for their treatment, or shall we not? Like for instance, cancers and stuff like that. Is it worth it? We shouldn't have that. It shouldn't be the case, should it? Hey, cheers, humility first. Hey, nice one. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, I'm about to clog off. I'll go live again later. It's quite easy now because the missus isn't here. She's in England. She always expects me to do stuff, she is. Anyway, it's time for me to go. I ain't got to say toodaloo. So, thank you very much. And thank you much for super chats and that. It's very appreciated. And those actually on the stream as well. And checking out my videos, which done quite well recently with these Charlie Kirk ones. But I just found it interesting. And such an hypocrisy. Such hypocrisy. Anyway, toodaloo. Have a lovely day. Don't work too hard. And give the missus, if you got one, a hug. If not, your dog. Alright? Or dogs. Depending on what you got. Or a cat even. You know how it goes. And don't forget the kids, obviously. Where's that little cross? There it is. Toodaloo. And thanks, Joe.